Hi Maradians, and welcome at the introduction to exercise of buying a pizza. You are going to plot quadratic functions, define functions in Python with parameters, and solve quadratic equations using method fsolve. Interactive versions of this empty notebook as well as the solve notebook are available via the link in the video description. And in the following videos, you will find a commented solution. Let's get into the task. You go for a pizza with your friend, and you have option to buy smaller pizza for 100 money or a bigger one which has larger diameter by 10 centimeters but costs 200 money. First question is, at which diameter D it pays off to buy two smaller pizzas rather than one bigger one. In the second part, we are going to investigate how the solution is going to change if we don't like 1 centimeter of the dry edge of the pizza and we want to discard it from our considerations. After some initial imports of standard modules, numerical Python and matplotlib pyplot for plotting graphs, we have some general settings for all the plots. And then comes the real task. In order to compare sizes of pizzas, we need to make a relation between the diameter of the pizza and its area. And that's exactly what function does. It takes independent variable x-axis and gives us some functional values which we want to be the area. So our independent variable is going to be diameter d, and you are going to define some reasonable values for it. After that, we define the condition mathematically, comparing two smaller pizzas and its area versus one bigger one. We express it as area of a circle, and then we calculate the functional values. After that, we are going to plot our function, which is actually going to be the difference of the areas between two smaller pizzas and one bigger one, and how that difference depends on the diameter d. Already by eye, we can see that from approximately 25 centimeters, it will always pay off to buy two smaller pizzas. And then we want to calculate it precisely. So there is a way to do it if we know the constants from the general expression ABC. But we are going to use method fsolve, which exists in Python and solves equations numerically, and not only quadratic ones. Before we can use the fsolve method, we need to import it from scientific Python package. And one more complication is that fsolve takes as an input another Pythonic function. So we need to define it with some name and what kind of arguments it takes. Then we want to apply some operations, in this case calculating the difference of the areas, and then we need to return it. We are going to test our function and then apply it to fsolve. It's not as easy as I told you, because after first intuitive try, the fsolve will return an error. We will try to understand it and use the fsolve again and better with one required argument, which is our initial estimate of a solution. And then we are going to demonstrate that we cannot always blindly trust the fsolve because of this initial estimate, and we will a little bit experiment with that. This is the end of the first part of the exercise. In the second part, we are going to try to extend our solution by considering the dry edge of the pizza and how to get rid of it if we don't want to eat it. The easiest way is to simply adjust or modify our function which we already coded above and adding the parameter of edge. After that, we can repeat the fsolve and we can plot both functions together, the original one in blue and then the improved solution by discarding the edge, which will shift the parabola to the right. Finally, I have some questions for you, which you can either think about or also implement into your notebook. If you got interested by this exercise, try to solve it by yourself before checking the solution notebook or solution video. Alternatively, go and check some other exercises, which might be more interesting for you. See you